welcome. All right, so I can see. Can you see the comments there, Ed? Oh, I can't even hear Ed. Ed, your microphone's off. Yeah, your microphone's off. Get it together, Ed. Nothing. Nothing. Can you hear him? Ed, get it together. I don't know. Are you on your headphones? That might be why. Turn your headphones off. How you mess all this up? What? Did you get it? No. All right. Well, I guess we try this with Ed again next time because Ed can't get his shit together. Andrew, we did. Hold on. Boom. Andrew, it is Thursday. This is a pop-up just because there's a couple things we wanted to chat about, and we figured why not. Did that work? Pull the question up. All right, Ed. Let me know if you can get it figured out. If not, we'll. Oh.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
You're delayed a little, but that's fine.
I'm a little slow, man. That's why you hang out with me.
Huh? All right. So Ed, introduce yourself so people know who you are.
Yes,
and
my name is Ed
PG, because we don't need to get kicked off here.
Oh, great. Yeah, so now I can only say like 4 things. My name is Ed Armbruster. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I own a shop called Vet Lab. I also do all kinds of other things that I'm not allowed to talk about because this is a family show apparently, and it's not very, the things I do aren't very family friendly. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's amateur night, by the way, too. That's where I'm driving to right now.
Yeah. Anyways, Ed is on his way to a shop where we'll actually be able to see him better, and we still, we can hear you, but it's not very good.
Yeah, I know why. Hang on.
Where you at? What did he do?
I'll be back.
All
How's
right.
that? Is that better?
Boom. Look, there we are.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
I had to turn my AirPod back on.
So a couple things that we're going to talk about today is, a lot of people ask me about the Reflex port injection, and they don't know that it's a lot more than just port injection. It's got a lot more features, as Ed can attest to. Ed has been able to test with me through, different iterations of it. So, because I get a lot of people that keep asking me, they're like, the Reflex is just port injection, right? And I'm like, well, you don't have the boost control set up, or the Lambda control, or the converter control, or nitrous. And they're like, what is all that? So, I figured a pop-up live to kind of go over some of that stuff might be a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you in a dark tunnel, or is it me?
No, hang on. I'm back. I'm trying to. Oh, look at that! It was a nice big blue red light right there. No, so the Camaro, the ZL1 Camaro we recently put together has, it's got the wideband setup. It's got the boost controller setup. I don't think that we got too far into bringing those into the fold as far as the tune goes, right? Because the transmission ate itself pretty early on. But that's really the reason that that I even like to do port injection. And me, I'd rather make you struggle by.
Is that just cutting up bad? All right, Ed, we're gonna have to get you back after. So I'm gonna shift to just me real quick. All right, so basically, a lot of people have been asking on the port injection. And they're like, what's the reason for going port, right? And obviously the reason is for more fueling, but it opens up a lot more opportunity, right? So when you have a car that you go into port injection, you're making 800, 900, 1,000 horsepower. It kind of gets hard to make that go to the ground. It makes that hard to hook up. It makes everything a lot more difficult. So the reason that we use Reflex, and we really like the Reflex system, and there's multiple ones out there, and there's reasons for all, but currently the Reflex seems to offer the most advantage overall to me currently right now. So basically, one thing that they implemented, other than having the customer service, anytime I call, it's there. The other big benefit is boost by gear, mile an hour, mile an hour, and ethanol content. So what that does is it allows us to take our front wheel speed, 30 mile an hour to 100 mile an hour, and adjust closed loop how much boost we want at every parameter. And the main reason that that's a big deal is when you're running into the threes, 60 to 130, and you've got to get all that power to the ground. If you think that we're just going out there and just stabbing it, it's not happening, right? So what we're doing is we're implementing a ramp and bringing that boost from, my car makes 21 pounds, and I can turn it down as low as 3 pounds of boost, which from 21 to 3, it's huge. Makes it kind of like a turbo car deal, right? But we're doing it with a PD blower, so that we can bring that 3 to 21 as fast as I want it to be. The next benefit is by gear. So say I've got a good ramp, but I'm in first gear. I can literally load a map that I can throw stock street tires on, and I can flat foot that car from a dig on a hard tire, no problem. And I can build that curve out. We don't have live front versus rear yet. And I say yet because it's coming. I'm going to keep pressuring Mike and the guys to get that coming. So that way we can say 21 pounds if the front versus rear is the same mile an hour. If the rear starts going higher, it can pull boost to adjust. It's not something we have yet, but basically we just set a ramp. So we know on this tire with this setup on this street, this car can put this much boost at this point. We can build that curve in there, and then we just put a button that can interrupt that for burnouts or at the track. So if you want to go to the drag strip and you want all the power right away, you can click a button and cancel the boost by gear or boost by mile an hour, however you set it. So I've posted videos about this on my Instagram with ZL1s before. I think, yeah, said when we did it on my ZL1, it was badass. The scramble is fun. So that's one that we did it. It's really cool because as you go through those gears, you watch that boost start ramping in, and yeah, all the boost at once will be cool, but it doesn't make a functional car sometimes. When you get into the 1100-1200 range, it's really, really critical. The cool thing with the way that it works is it utilizes a MAC valve. So we can use that on PD blowers. We can use that on Pro Chargers. We can use that on turbos. We can use that on whatever. So this is literally a $1,200 box that gives you the control of the fueling. It gives you the boost by gear, mile an hour, all that. I'm not paid to say any of this either. I paid for mine way a long time ago. But I just really like it because I can call Mike on the phone and I can say, hey, I just called him. And I said, hey, on these stock cars with the stock blower, something we've been doing is as the temperature comes up, we want that boost to come down. Once we go to the port control, we don't have that feature yet. So I called Mike and I said, hey, if we can get manifold air temp pulled over the can we get it implemented into the controller so we can control boost by that? And Mike says, hey, I'll get back with you, let you know. So once we do that, we'll have that control. 160, 170, that temp's going up. Pulling timing does so much. And we just posted a video on this, so you go watch it and you can kind of see how it works. But pulling timing only makes more cylinder heat. So, it works, but it's not the best way. So pulling that boost down as the car is going up, or say you have a pump fail, which constantly happens and you get no check engine lights. 170, 180, 190, we can drop that boost down to nothing, which will keep the car safer, make a lot less heat. It'll work a lot better. Another cool thing is I like to run, I have a lot of people know I have a 125 shot on my car, but I don't like running fuel through the blower for nitrous because I'm worried that it's not going to get to the cylinders even. So I asked Mike, I said, hey man, can we do something to where I can trigger something to let it know that I'm going to spray? and have it add fuel. So he implements that. We have that where if I decide I'm cruising down the road and I want to hit it and I want to add that 125, I can press the button, and before that nitrous can make it through the blower, I already have fuel at all 8 cylinders. So when you normally look at a log of nitrous, you usually see that lean spike. I don't have that. If anything, I have a little bit of a rich spike. But we blend that out and make that work. So boost by gear, boost by mile an hour, boost by ethanol content, right? Say you got a car that's on 25, 26 pounds, like we have a ZL1 here on the island that makes 26 pounds. Well, clearly you can't do that on pump gas. So I have different boost curves built for the closer they get to 80%, it'll do the full boost curve. And then as they get closer to pump gas, that boost curve will drop to whatever I set it to. And they don't have to adjust anything. They don't have to touch anything. They literally just put the pump gas in and the Reflex will automatically fix that. Another cool thing that I like about it is, a lot of people know or don't know, we have a manual lockup control because they have issues on the 8-speeds. Not going to go in depth on it. It's a customer thing. Once you're tuning with us, feel free to ask and I'll let you know. But that's a JWT tuned only thing. But we have that built in. So basically when you get that third, fourth gear and it wants to unlock in fourth and go to fifth, because we can't seem to get that to work consistently, we have an overrun from the Reflex that does that as well. So you in my opinion, you pay $1,200 for a box that gives you a whole nother world of adjustments. The other benefit is the Lambda control. Lambda control. So what that is you can take your wideband, you pin your wideband into it and say you're going out there making pull and your meth fails, right? Because that's what everybody's worried about, even though meth doesn't fail nearly that often. If the meth failed and the car went lean, right, this would automatically see that, and I can set an amount of fuel it can add back. So if I know if it goes lean that it would take out 15% of the fuel, I can add I can adjust my limits to say 20-25% plus, no minus, because I don't want it to pull fuel, and it will be able to add that fuel to save you. So that's another big benefit. Yeah. The converter lockup works amazing and helps a lot. Exactly. And Thick is finally into the port game. He definitely didn't have it before because he doesn't listen. What? Where's that at? Have them put it on Facebook or YouTube, because I can pull the question up here. All right. So if you're listening to this on Instagram or Facebook, if you come over to the YouTube, because a lot of people are asking me to highlight the questions, right? So on Instagram, because I'm learning this, right? I'm trying. That's why we're doing this pop-up. I can pull your question over like this. And I'd like that because I think it helps me address the question and everybody understands what I'm talking about. MJ, I'm only on 25 pounds now. Huh? He's already been to 30 pounds. But anyways, what I was going to say, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, please come over to YouTube. It's Tuned In with JWT. Subscribe, like it, hit the bell. That way you're notified of this, because eventually we're going to move this all over to YouTube only. And we are doing our live tomorrow night with Brandon Lieb from Elite Tune to go over tuning schools, how I feel about it, how he feels about it, and kind of where to go from there. But if you guys want all this info, I've got a lot more lined up, a lot more live stuff lined up. So, and when we hit 1,000 followers, we're going to do a giveaway. I don't know what we're giving away yet, but we're giving away something. And we'll do that as we go, because, those are fun and people like free stuff. But please come over to the YouTube, Tuned In with JWT, and that way we can kind of do it this. So, hey, Justin, with the PWR, CNR, billet bricks worth the price? Yes. I mean, CNR is a well-known company. They've been around for a very long time, and they make a quality product. I have seen a failure with one, but we don't know what the actual issue was or why that happened. But I've seen a lot more do a lot more for cooling than a factory brick has. So in my opinion, I don't think it costs as much for what it's giving you. All right. And then before I go back to the questions, I just want to kind of keep going on this, just kind of finish it out. So Reflex is what we use. There's a lot others out there. There's the Atlas. There used to be the Crawford, but I don't know where he went. There's plenty of options. Currently, I feel like the Reflex offers more than anybody. It also offers the manual adjustment, so I can adjust how much port, because as we all know, less port, more DI makes more power, which we will be testing and showing again on my car here coming up. I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A, and then I'll go back to my plans with my car. Some things have changed. And yeah, so I didn't plan to add more power, but I got a call today, and we'll go to that. Let's do a little bit of Q&A, and then we'll come back. Trevor, is this box compatible with 5th gen and LSA? It is not. I don't think they have that out because you already have port injection, but we can do the boost by intake air temp and all that if you need that with the older platforms. So just ask me, let me know, and I can add that in there. Best setup to keep with a 10-speed boosted Mustang that's on E85. A C7. I think that was self-explanatory. All right, Andrew, what's the upgrades coming with the Reflex Pro? Not allowed to talk about it yet, but I did speak with Mike today, and I am trying to force him on here. So I'm hoping to go live with him next week and have him kind of talk about the Reflex Pro. It's got a lot. It's got a whole lot coming. There's some really cool features, but I'm not allowed to say anything. That's going to be him. So it's coming. Like the live, everyone. Thank you. Please like it, share, subscribe, help us out. Help me help you, because, you know, that's what we're doing this for, right? And move it to YouTube. Tuned in with JWT. Let's blow this up, because the more it blows up, the more people I can go visit and the more knowledge we can get out there. Tooley's got that really badass cannon valve cylinder head. I talked to him a little bit about it today, and we blow this up, we can get him back on here and have him drop some more knowledge like we did on the Go Hard podcast. How is your fuel system set up on your Corvette, and how do you, oh, Jesus. All right, so I'm gonna make this very clear. The way that it's set up on my car, I do not suggest that you do. I did it because I'm poor. So, so basically I run the auxiliary setup, auxiliary pump, with a AEM 400 with a booster pump, and that is triggered and controlled with the Reflex as well. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. I also have my fuel pump controlled with this $1,200 box. So that's lockup control, nitrous control, fuel controlled, port injection, and Lambda control, all from that one box. But anyway, so I have a aux pump with a booster pump as well as a booster pump on my factory pumps. But keep in mind, I do make, you know, almost 1,300 wheel. So, and I run all that through a factory fuel line, and I have no issues with that and have had no issues with that for over 5,000 miles, but that's a topic for another day for sure. George, back in here, bringing the big boost. We are bringing some boost up, but we're going to get to that. Okay, so the DSX twin bucket, I just saw that. I need to look into that a little more, but from what I can see in the like 5 minutes I spent on it, it looks like a really good deal. I think it's going to do great because I love that it has a bucket versus the 4 that doesn't have the bucket. But again, I'm a budget guy, and I think it was like $2,000. And I don't know if I could justify a twin pump, but if they can fit a third pump, which I'm sure they can, that would push that over. That would make that worth it for me. Justin, I've had good luck with the yeah. So Justin is the one that actually told me about it and made me look into it. So 5,000 miles, he's had really good luck with it, and we will continue to, you know, see how well that works out. Heads cam, no port. What's needed for fully 85 cars under the knife? So one of the things that you guys already know that I'm going to be doing with my car is doing the Nostrum 51% over stage 2 injectors. I have received them. They are at the house. The car will be getting those. I'll film that. I'll post all this. I'm going to take it to the dyno. I guess we're going into my plans now. We're going to take my car to the dyno. I'm going to turn the port injection off, and I'm going to dial the car as high as I can go on just those nostrum injectors with the stock LT4 high side pump, and see how much power we can make. I'll adjust the boost accordingly using the Reflex, right? I'll use that to adjust my boost. And then from there, I'll do the same boost number with port as well. And that'll kind of show you what I'm talking about when I say more port causes it to lose a little bit of power, and you'll be able to understand that. And we are in talks with K-Tech. Am I frozen on Instagram? If I'm frozen on Instagram, you should be over at Tuned In with JWT on YouTube anyways. That way I can see your question, answer your question, and like, subscribe, share, hook us up so we can hook you up. So basically, I'm going to put the, It's not? What's it doing? It's moving. It's not moving on this though. All right. So we're going to put the Nostrum 51% injector, stock LT4 pump, and I'm going to push that as hard as I can. So this will help answer your question. Stay tuned, and I'll have the videos posted. But from there, we're talking to K-Tech. So it depends on, what I can work out with them, where we may add the Goliath pump, because I think that we're going to run out of the high side pump before we're going to run out of that injector. And then, like I said, I'll do a DI versus PI review, and then we'll turn the car up and see how much power it can make. That being said, the car has made 1151 a few times already on this dyno, so I know that's about what it makes. I do expect the injectors to give us a little more power, but I did get a call today. My buddy Alex was speaking with Greg Kong, and we're working something out. And my blower was pulled by Matt Orzak Motorsports, and he shipped the blower off to Kong to get it ported. So if you're going to Cadillac Attack and you thought, you didn't have a chance, now you're super fucked. Because he won't say exactly how much more it should gain, and neither would I, because who knows. But I would expect minimum 50, 60 more wheel with just the ported blower. But people have seen as much as 100 wheel. So I know what the car makes. We'll see where that goes. So ARB 08178, stay tuned. All of that's coming up, and I think that's really going to help you make a decision. But if you add port, you get all those other cool features. So, can you come back to town and gap thick? Oh, dude, I'd put so many cars on him anyways. He put that gay turbo on there. But he is going to let us borrow the wheels for Cadillac Attack, so I guess I can't gap him until after that. Or if he has no wheels, he can't gap me. All right. Thank you for asking. Ask the questions. That's what we're going to do. This is just a quick pop-up live. Like I said, still tomorrow, we'll have Brandon Lieb on from Elite Tune School to talk about tuning and people that want to get into tuning. If you have questions on that, hop in there. That's what he's there for. He's the professional in the teaching category, and I will share my experience and how I relate to tuning schools and what I think, and then, we'll have our nice back and forth. But you wouldn't know that if you don't subscribe, like, and share on Tuned In with JWT. Why did you talk to Brian Tooley today? Because of you, Paul. Because of you. Yes. Paul put it in my JWT family group that's on Facebook. So if you're not part of that and you want to be part of that, let me know. It's basically a community of tuners and shops and all my customers. So, if they have like inside scoop questions, I'll post it there before I'll post anywhere else. So thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. I did call him. There is some news coming, but we got to keep this going, and then I'll get him back on. Thank you. Right. Hit the thumbs. Give us some likes. Give us some shares. Again, this is helping me help you bring this information. If y'all really want no gatekeeping 2025, you got to blow this page up. You blow this page up, we will fly anywhere in the world and get that information. We're not scared to travel. We have a passport for a reason, right? Huh? That's right. And the kids all have passports. So we'll take the whole fam. So like, subscribe, hit the share, tuned in with JWT on YouTube. That's where we're going to move everything over. I'll probably give all of the pages another month or so, and then I'm going to make it specifically here. All the lives will be here. Everything will be here, right? Exclusive to this page. Huh? Oh, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, move over to Tuned In with JWT YouTube. That way, when you ask a question, I can pull it up like this and I can answer them directly. It's too hard to go to all the other pages. This is the best way, I think. What do you think AEM 400 can handle on E85? I can tell you without the booster pump, with the AEM 400, I made about 950, 960 on full E. With the booster pump, I made 11, right at 1100. And then when I added that 125 shot, I started dropping pressure. So I added the booster pump to the factory pump as well. And that brought that back. Again, I'm not saying that's the best way to do it. I'm just saying that's what I have because I'm honest about everything on my car. So if you ever have a question or you want to, call me out and you think that I'm lying, I will happily pull it apart so you can see as long as you're paying. Michael Prince, what's up, man? Yes, we are going to come to Texas 2K. I don't think we're fast enough to race there. Plus, you got to kind of get everything set ahead of time. And we're really going to go there to kind of talk to people, do some interviews, do some talking, and try to get some more knowledge out. So we will be at Texas 2K. I may be on the street fucking some people up. I don't know yet. Legally, of course. So think about pro charging my 18 Silverado with on the 85 with an LT4 fuel system. Would that be the best way to do it? Yes. I always suggest the LT4 fuel system. Again, I will post my results with the Nostrum injectors, and I think that may be another advantageous route. But always get as much DI as you can, as long as it's reliable, drives good. I say that because I've had issues with some of the bigger injectors in the past. But that's the biggest basis to kind of get everything going, right? My car at 900 horsepower on a lot of DI and not a lot of port, right? That car with more port and less DI is significantly less responsive. Enough that I've dropped my port milliseconds from 6 down to about 3.5 or 4. And my car was 0.4 slower, 60 to 130. So I don't know if it's the reaction of being more efficient, having the more direct injection. I think that's more of the reason, but always build a good base because you can add the port later. But you want that bottom line to be on that DI, and you really want that to kind of help light everything up and get it going. Is the DSX aux not big enough? So he has the 255 and the 320. I've done both, and the 320, I think they've said that it'll make 900. I haven't had that luck. I've gotten about 850 out of it, and then I swapped to the 400, and I've brought it into the 900s. So, I don't think it's enough, in my opinion. Do your own testing. The AEM 400 is literally $180. So I just swap it on there because I don't like to lack on fuel. What's no? Why are we saying no? What? Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get through the comments. I want to make sure I answer this stuff properly. Would CID heads be a better choice over porting the factory LT4 head for the gain of money? In my opinion, I haven't seen the gains yet. I have been just as fast and faster with the LT4 heads as I have with the CID heads. Talking on the GPI episode, he seems to like the CID head as well. I don't know if that's because they have a hand in the development or maybe they don't. I don't know. I haven't seen the LT4 head become a restriction yet. So time will tell. And eventually, if we blow this up with you guys liking, subscribing, and sharing, we can do these tests. I'll go rent a dyno and we'll literally film on an engine dyno, changing parts for 2 days. If this blows up, I don't care. I'm down to test everything. I've always done it before in private. So why not post it to the public? That way people get the right answers and don't have to listen to what people think they've heard or think they've seen. As part of No Gatekeeping 2025, can we deep dive on reading spark plugs as well as your process on choosing plugs for different combinations? Absolutely. I will grab my phone 1 second and let me write that down. You wrote it down? Okay, Wendy noted that down. Give me another live or so and I will do that because I want to figure out how to get pictures and things on here so I can show different plugs we've read over time and kind of give you a better reason, because on the LT stuff, we have to use 2 different plugs. We typically run the brisk on the higher horsepower stuff, but you can't read the brisk. So we use an NGK. There's 2 different NGKs that we'll use to read, but that's a long one. That will be its own live, but I promise you I will get that going. What heads do you run on your BTR Stage 1 PD cam? I have stock LT1. I had LT1 heads that were ported. I dropped the valve seat. That's a whole nother deal. I went to LT4 heads. That's what I have now, and that's what the car will probably forever have, LT4 heads. I'm too cheap to go with other heads until, you guys like, share, subscribe, and we are able to buy CID heads for no reason. Then we'll do that, and we'll go on Engine Dyno, and I'll try it, and I'll show you guys the difference. I'm totally down for that. Again, we have a Mustang here. What? Oh, Wendy said somebody mentioned that we should get a Fox body and drop an LT4 in it. I'll have you know, we already own a Mustang. We've owned it for quite a while. It's a V6 car, but it is a 2012. It has a solid axle, so that car will get something crazy thrown in it. But again, all of that depends on where this goes, because I kind of planned on having that car as like a test bed to do just dumb shit with and see what it does and see how fast it'll go. And I don't care about cutting it up or doing whatever. I just don't want to cut up our daily cars, because when we cut our daily cars up, they don't relate to customers. So if I go out there and rip a bunch of weight out of my C7, it doesn't relate to what you guys are going to do. So if I tell you to do this specific build, you won't get the same results. So that's why I don't do that. That's why our cars are always, as they come, factory, cooled, heated seats, the whole deal. Does your car have a 2650? Yes. My car currently has the newer 2650, which is the 1-piece. It's a little less efficient than the 3-piece 2650 that Magnuson made, but I got a good deal, so that's what we got. It's been unported this whole time. The car made 1151 unported with just a rod piston LT1. The blower is in a box from Orzak Motorsports, sending it off to Greg Kong to get ported now. So we'll kind of keep you up to date with that, videos, the whole deal. What kind of power can be made on a C7 M7, 4-inch intake, Joker's ported blower, 2.3 upper, 2 IPSI port kit, 2-inch headers, DSX low side? Well, I mean, the M7 doesn't really matter. That kind of just gives you more to the ground a little bit. But with Joker's blowers, I've been in the 950, 960 range. That's 2.3 upper and like a 9.8 lower or a 10-inch lower. So I couldn't see why, but again, that's going to really depend on camshaft selection. I don't know what 4-inch intake you're talking about. I typically run the Rotofab, Big Gulp. So I'm not sure what intake you're talking about. What made you go BTR cam over TSP or GPI? Okay, so I had a Texas Speed cut cam in my car with, and this is just an opinion that I have, so don't come after me, Texas Speed, because I put that cam in LT1 heads, and shortly after running that, I broke a valve seat, and we have that cam has been tested with Brian Tooley with their valve, what is it called? Spintron. And the seat bounce is a big issue that they were seeing with the Texas Speed cams. That's what I think happened. And that, because I've asked many other people with other camshafts, and nobody seems to be having this issue, but I have several cars that have a Texas Speed cam that have broken valve seats. That's why I went to BTR, because they have a Spintron and they can monitor that thing. And then when they cut their cams, it's based on that. So could it be that their cams were a little more aggressive? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the professional on that, but that was enough that it cost me a piston and a head, and I wasn't happy with that. GPI, I think they monitor things like that too. I just haven't run GPI's cams yet. But again, if we do blow this up, I will go get all these cams again and do another cam test, and I'll make it public, because I did a cam test on the engine dyno and I paid for it. So it's my information, and I just didn't feel like I should share that with everybody yet. But I did tell you what cam won, so that's good. Interested in tuning a YSI? Absolutely. I tune tons of C6s. YSIs make really good power as long as you keep the belt on them. Just keep an extra belt in the back. But yeah, I'd be more than happy. Hit me up. I like this whole comment thing. That's cool. Do you suggest porting for the LSA platform? 100%. There's so much in that LSA blower, as well as some crazy stuff that, like I've said before, Rick Crawford's doing with the rotors that we talked about on BTR's podcast with Go Hard. So there's a lot in there. But even regular, calling export or the top of the line Joker's port, I've seen 980, 990 out of those blowers. So yes, definitely porting them. But again, it's all in proper combo. Tell us how much you love comp turbos. Comp turbos, fight me. They're pieces of shit. 100%. And I told you that, George. I warned you. Yeah, I had comp turbos on my car. I made right at 1680 on a live on the dyno, and it shit a turbo. After it had already shit one turbo at the track, my first pull after driving, 8 hours? 8 hours I drove for my car to shit the turbo out. First pass. Then I put it on the dyno, it shits the turbo out, and they say that, oh, something must have fell out of your engine. Except I was on a live, took those turbos off, put my Borg Warners back on, and proceeded to make 1700 wheel literally right after that. So comp turbos, get your fucking shit together. Ridiculous. And I keep seeing it happen. Can you run C85 on LT1 on LT4? Yes. Dexter, you already know this. Why are you playing? Yeah, you can run C85 on LT1 on LT4 fuel system, and it's a good idea. Are you concerned about Hector? No, because, spoon engines have been, backdated for a while. I don't think they're catching up, so Hector can come get it too. Get it? I don't know if Wendy caught it. Well, come back. Smalls, 8L90 versus 10L90. I like the 8L. I like it in my car. I don't know that I think an 8L versus a 10L and a C7 would make a difference, but I could tell you the 10L with the tech that it has and the research we've been doing and the power I've already made through them, the 10L is going to change this game heavily, especially in the V2 game. CAD heads worth the money on LT4 over. We already went over that, sneaker kid. Come on. You're the one that asked it before. Love this kind of content. That's what it's for, man. But again, I got to keep doing this because people keep coming in and coming out. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, come to YouTube. Tuned in with JWT. Like, subscribe, share, throw some thumbs up. Give us a little bit of love, because the bigger this becomes, the more knowledge is going to come out. The more that's going to keep coming. So keep that going. YFT Garage. If you're not following YFT, make sure you go follow it. I don't know if he's telling everybody, but I'm going to tell him I am going up there this week to go freeze my balls off. I'm hoping that for some reason it gets sunny up there, but I don't like my chances. But we'll be over there. So go over there. We're going to drop some stuff with him. And then I'm flying to Atlanta and then right back here. I'm curious when you plan on installing Nostrum DI injectors. Looking forward to how their kit performs based on their interview. I am curious too. I actually spoke with them again today because they think that I'm going to run out of high side pump first, which I already know, but I told them I wanted to do DI only because I want to see if we can make 900 with those injectors with a stock LT4 pump. That would be awesome, because for a lot of people, that would be enough. I 100% believe a car that makes 900 on pure DI versus a car that makes 950 on port-in DI, that the 900 horsepower car is going to light up and get out of there quicker. My opinion. We're going to test this all, and I'll post it on here as we go. But again, we're reaching out to K-Tech. Hopefully, maybe we'll talk to them tomorrow about their Goliath pump. I'd like to try it, put it in there. If anybody knows somebody at K-Tech, holler. That way we don't run into the pump limitation issue, and we can actually see what these injectors and pump combo can do. Build an Evo. Wendy, that's a sign. I've been wanting an Evo forever, and I would love to have one. I already know that DSM is asking for trouble, but you know, we do a lot dumber stuff. All right. Oh boy, why is this thing? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. This was only supposed to be like a 10-minute thing, and I don't know how long we're going, but I'm not even going to look. I'm going to roll through these questions, and then make sure that you come back tomorrow if you have tuning questions, tuning school questions, anything like that on Tuned In with JWT on YouTube, because we'll have Brandon on here, and he can answer all that. Why do some people take DI away? Because they're retarded. Can I say that? I can't say that. I pull that word back. Because they're not intelligent. If you go into like a full race car, I get it, right? But at that point, why not just put an LS in it? That's just, it doesn't make sense to me, right? Why have the efficiency of the DI and get rid of that? Why not just keep it and add on top? Personal opinion. Would you be able to make more power on the same boost stock bottom end LS if it had less compression? I'm not sure I understand that. More compression makes more power. I'm not 100% sure I understand that. If you reword it and I see it in here, I'll get back to you. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I get it right. How much can the LT4 stock bottom take on a roots blower? In my opinion, this is me. If I'm tuning the car, I'm comfortable around 1,100-1,200 wheel if you have good fuel. I have several cars that have made that. So with a PD blower, that's my opinion. I know some people are like, oh, no way. Well, I've got like 15 cars that have been doing it and have been lasting. If you go into like turbos or like a Sentry blower, if you can keep the belt on it, that goes up to around 1,400-1,500. I feel pretty comfortable with. And I've done it several times and I have no issues. So things can always happen, but it's not as likely. All right. What power can we make with stock C7, ZR1, and Dragon numbers? I mean, that's the same engine as the LT4, so it'd be the same. I've been in the threes on stock engine with several different cars, so I'd say around there. Most cost-effective fuel system for built LT1 Maggie 2650, shooting for 1,000 to 1,100. Trying to basically mirror your C7, but in an ATSV. Yes, ATSV, not CTSV. Chase, funny enough, my buddy McKinley, you know, really good dude, super demented at times. He has an LT4 swapped ATSV, and he is, I don't know what fuel system he's using now. He had the 4 in it. I got to go rewire some stuff on it and try to get it running. So I'm going to make a video on that too. So stay tuned on that. But if you have some advice on that, reach out because I'd like to talk to you about trying to get that one running. But for fuel system, man, I just like the aux pumps. They work really well. I'm not scared of a booster pump because the factory system runs adjustable voltage as well. So, and typically, if I've ever had a booster pump fail, it was bad out the box. So as long as you wire everything right, get everything proper, I don't see an issue with that. Let's see. You know, of anyone running the factory mast heads, how have they performed on the LT? I don't know of anyone, but write that down. I'll look into that. The factory mast heads. All right. And shoot me a DM, Hanger, and let me know which one specifically, and I'll do some research and make some phone calls. I do agree. And if we do the LT4 in it, if we don't do a 10-speed, we will probably do a Turbo 400. Huh? Which one? Yep. All right. You and Brian talk about port displacing airflow and losing power of running DI. Would that lessen if you run larger heads, and who ported your heads? All right. So yeah, I mean, that's just, it's as simple as the amount of fuel you put in the intake tract has to displace the amount of air that can flow through it. So just making the port bigger doesn't really help, right? Because it's still, if you follow the GPI episode, we go over that. The port size doesn't matter. It's how much of the port you're using, according to Justin from Kuntz Performance. So I don't think that would matter. Ultimately, just try to get as much DI as you can properly, and then trickle the port in as you can. That's what I typically do, and it works really, really well. And my heads, oh boy, who did them? I think they were done by Slick Rick. I'm pretty sure that's who did them. When they did the engine at Ultimate Engine, I believe that's where they sent the heads. I can check. I know I should know that, but I don't. Huh? No, that was my CTSV had that. Yep. So I think they're Slick Rick heads. I don't think so. It does have AC, and of course it'll have AC. It's 85 degrees year round here. It does have AC. Yes, it does. The fan works. I fixed it. You just got to kick it. Don't start. It works. It has AC, and it will. All right, we might rip it out. I don't know. Stop commenting on my stuff. Best cam, Jacob. You know, best cam for what, bro? Come on, do better. Better questions. Damn it! Stop right clicking. I got my LT1 heads ported and milled down. How much power should I make with the BTR 225 cam and high ram? I'm not 100%. If we're talking stock bottom end and they're milled down, I don't know, 40 with a 40 gasket, typically in the 600, low 600s. Depends on what fuel you run too, because that can make a big difference. All right, just bought a V2. What's the first few mods you recommend to purchase? Doesn't have to be power mods. I'm going to make a video on that. I just did the first few mods on the LT4. I'm going to do the LSA, LS9. But if you're saying not power related, I mean, the V2 is such a killer platform. I really don't think there's many issues with them. A Bluetooth receiver, because they don't come with Bluetooth, and that's depressing. Anything else you can think? V2, first mods? And a backup camera if you have an 09. But for power stuff, yes, I will make a video on that, so stay tuned. I don't want to ruin that with the live. Huh? What? Shut your mouth. Real quick. Injectors, upper pulley, E85. Moving on. TSP quantity, BTR, GPI. Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel. I've had a lot of issues with the with engines from Texas Speed. I've had a lot of issues with, like I said, my cam issue, as well as other cars. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't talk to the guys, but I have offered to work with them if they were to make that engine right, and they have yet to do that on any of the engines that we've had issues with, which is like 4 now. So if they ever decide to make that right, maybe we'll work together, but I don't know. No AC and PR is death. It's not that bad, but yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Smooth booster, that's a good one, Sam. So I have the smooth boost, and I love the smooth boost because I have the dial, which I used forever. The fine adjustment's really, really good. It's very fast. I like that. I do like the bypass valve as well, but it is vacuum, so it is a hair slower. So I think that's the difference. Obviously, price-wise, one's $400, one's $1,000, but plus I like the smooth boost because it looks cooler because it's billet. I don't know if that matters. That matters to some people. So either one, honestly, very good. But how cool is it that 2i PSI made a valve to help us out? Again, you can't hate that company. They do so well and help for everybody. Before I answer this, If you're on Facebook or Instagram, come over to YouTube. We're going to let this go for probably another 20-ish minutes. If you're on YouTube, I can see it. While you're there, subscribe, like, throw us some thumbs up. Give us some help, because the bigger this gets, the more information y'all are going to get. The more places I'm going to travel, the more questions I'm going to ask and force the truth out of people. So let's make, no gatekeeping 2025 big. And if people don't want to share, we'll force it to them, Yes.
Is the reflex system pretty intricate, or is it more plug and play?
The Reflex is, I don't know what you mean by intricate. There is some wiring to do in the ECU, but it's nothing that you can't do in your driveway. I've actually walked people through it in their driveway, and there's also a video online of how to install it in your driveway. So I'd say it's not intricate. Plus, you can actually call and speak to someone, and they will walk you through any issues you have, as well as I will. So it's not really that hard. It's very simple. Mike, I don't want to mess that up. I'm sorry. Stock 8L90 or 10L90. I can tell you in stock 8L90, I have made 1,100 pretty safely. I never had a failure at 1,100. 10L90 stock, I've made 1,300 to 1,400 and I've only had one failure there, and that's a different car. I think they're pretty much what and what, but the 10-speed doesn't have the random self-disassembling issue that the 8L90 does. So I'll go with that. That's where I think the 10-speed's going to win over that. What cam would you recommend for a twin 64, 67 cam I currently have is for my blower setup? So I talked to Thule about it and asked him if he's going to do more turbo cam testing. And his response to me was, if it's a good motor cam, it's a good turbo cam. It just depends on how soon you want the boost in it. So I think that would relate to kind of smaller is better, but really depends on what you're trying to do. But the turbo size is on point, but that does look like it might be a comp turbo. So you might have other issues to deal with. The Reflex work on Blackwing. That's a good one. Not yet, but it's coming. The Reflex Pro will work with Global B. So I'll be testing it soon, but I don't know what I can say or post. So when Mike gets on here, hopefully next week, make sure to come back. If you like, subscribe and hit the little bell thing. It'll notify you that we're on. I'll do a post like a day or two ahead of time. Get on his ass. Tell him. And then, it'll be coming. I know that they're working on it. I don't know who GPI uses to cut their cams, but I can ask and find out. I'll probably get Ryan on here because remember Friday, GPI Part 2. Sorry about that cliffhanger, but it was good. GPI Part 2 drops Friday. So I will try to get him on here after to kind of answer some of the questions people might have from that episode. If I know Justin, like I do, the Mustang will throw down 1,500 with some cold R12 retrofit to. I mean, that's about right. Everything I've had has had AC. I don't know why you say it's not going to have AC.
I've had that car longer than I've had you, and it didn't even have AC very well then.
It has very good air conditioning.
When it works.
When it works, whatever.
I said the motor.
All right, stock rod and piston LS3. YSI has 8 ribs set up with secondary drive. Has a big pulley on it as of now because I'm not sure how far I can push the motor. Stock rod and piston LS3, about 1,000 or 1,100. As long as we keep the bottom end kind of soft, it'll make about 1,000 or 1,100 pretty reliably. The LS3 is a pretty strong motor as long as you don't force a lot on the rods or let windy drive. Because
You're talking about rods again.
yeah, stock LS3, the one when you bent 7 of the 8 rods. Are you as excited as I am for the Motec FTR? I am very excited for the Motec FTR. I have saved up enough to buy the harness. So I'm working on the computer now, and I will be doing testing with that later as well. So the FTR is the elite, but again, I think Reflex has its purpose and is amazing controller, especially for the price point, $1,200 versus the FTR that's in the 7,500 range. But once you get to that power level, I mean, what's money anyways, right? You're pissing it down the drain at that point. Meth injection, M1 or M5, do you mix anything? I have not done M5 because I'm a sissy. I also do not run meth on my car, but not because I don't believe in it and I don't trust it, because I've never had a failure with alky controls set up. I've talked to him about coming on here too. We're going to talk to Julio. Super, super smart guy, but he doesn't get on these. We're going to force him on. As long as you guys blow this up, I'm going to make him get on here and tell y'all some meth knowledge, because he's been doing this stuff since way back. But anyways, I have done some fuel mixing in the gas tank, but I don't think that we're at enough subscribers for me to release that. If we get to 1,200 subscribers, by the time I go put my car on the dyno, I will mix fuels on that motor and show you what each fuel mixed in the fuel does. I can assure you there are gains there, but 1,200 subscribers is what it's going to take. Hey guys, next time, talk my way, hit me up. Been too long. Absolutely. I will definitely do that. Shoot me a text, man. You know, I'm still here, still alive. What? Yeah, we're spicy Florida. Opinion on JMX Fuel Max for aux pump. Why not both? That's what I have. I have the JMS Fuel Max, well, 2 of them, and I have an aux pump. So it seems like if you don't do an aux pump, the Fuel Max will get you into that 700, 800 range, but not quite the same as the aux pump. But again, the aux pump will get you there, you know, with it a lot better. Any modification need to swap out the AEM with the aux pump supplied by DSX? Yes, you have to adapt the ends, but if you buy the AEM that comes with the -6 ends, then it should just screw in, because the DSX pump has -6 on each side, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's it. You just have to make sure the connections, and then the wiring will literally swap over. Back to that. I'm not saying that the DSX controller is supposed to run the 400 or not. I'm not sure. I have done it. It does run it, but I don't know if they are okay with that or the amperage is different. Either way, mine's run by the Reflex now, so it doesn't matter. Just to put that out there. All right. Like 10-ish, 15-ish more minutes, guys. This is supposed to be a quick one, but these are some damn good questions. Maybe we should, let me know if we should move the live to Wednesday, because someone brought it up that Thursday they have a lot of other automotive podcasts on that people like to watch. So let me know if you think Wednesday is better than Thursday. I will adjust for you guys. Just let me know. Put it in the comments, right? And again, from Facebook and Instagram, get over to Tuned In with JWT. Pop your questions in here and we'll get them answered. When should I upgrade my factory 3/8 fuel line on my supercharged 6th-gen Camaro? I run a factory 3/8 fuel line on my car and I make 1,280 wheel. Works great. What year Evo? Very good question. I like the 8. I kind of like the Evo 9. The 10 looks like a fucking pig, so I don't like that one. Probably a Evo 9 MR. And if y'all blow this up and I can afford one, I will get one and we'll do cool shit with that too. I'm not against imports. Is port injection on LT4 worth it with a 2650 combo? Of course it is. I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding that, Chris, but absolutely, you need the fuel. That's 100%. We put port injection on stock cam cars just so we don't have to, do a fuel lobe and make 900 horsepower with a 2650 and a stock cam. So, have you ever got a China 103 to idle normally on a Gen 5? I haven't actually seen a China 103 for a Gen 5. I hope I never come across that. But when they came out in the LS platform, I would always tell people they were cheap enough to buy two, throw one in the trunk, and when it failed, you could just swap it out and drive home. So get what you pay for. I like Nick Williams throttle bodies because if something happens or I'm in an issue, I have literally called Nick Williams and he has overnighted me motors to a house down the street so I could fix it and go rounds the next day. So good luck calling China for a motor. You know, Waffle House would be fantastic. He says, Wendy, how is Justin dealing without Waffle House? Waffle House would be fantastic. I might get that as soon as I. Do they have that in Pennsylvania? Philadelphia? Do they have that? YFT? Waffle House? Or no, they have Huddle House. Whatever. It's not the same. All right. Is that the masked LT heads, Reginald? And if so, what do you think about them? If you want to, shoot me a message, let me know. Or if you want to hop on a live, I'll bring you in, at some point and you can kind of share your experience if you've done some testing with them, because I'd love to know. What's the max boost I can make with stock block LS3 with LSA? Depends. If you can make it super soft on the bottom, 17, 18, probably not an issue. The LSA really isn't super efficient over 20 pounds unless you've done some modifications. So if you want to be super safe with it, 14, 16 is what I would probably do, because you get too much boost down on the bottom range and it will bend the rods. Can the 6090 stock hold up to absolutely? 6090 stock will hold 1200 all day, every day, if tuned properly from the get-go. If it's already hurt, maybe not. But if you guys look up Sebastian, I don't know his page. Damn it. Sebastian Gomez. He has CTSV that's on 20-something pounds of boost. When he came to me, his 6090 wouldn't shift. And we made that last well over a year of him beating the shit out of it. And it finally broke an input shaft like 2 or 3 years later. So yeah, stock 6090s are very strong if tuned properly. LT4 blower on 60 LS, I think it's capable of. Do they do that? Is that a thing? That would be really cool. 6-liter LS depends. If you're talking about one that there's difference in the compression, I believe LQ4, LQ9. Man, it's been a while. I've made 1,000 with the LT4 blower, so I don't see why. Maybe because it's just port injected, I'd say 900 to be safe, 800-900 if you push it pretty hard, get some compression in it. I don't know that for a fact, but I didn't know they're doing that. If they're doing that, send me some pictures. I want to see that. Thoughts on custom grind cams? Funny how they're basically never tested or revised and they perform poorly. I don't know that they perform poorly, but something I was told a while back from Thule was that when you buy cams in a batch, they're a lot more consistent because that tooling stays set for that. I believe that's what he said. But so the thing is, there's been so much testing and so many people that have tried different stuff that these shelf cams are damn good by now. Like if they weren't, I don't know. I don't think there's an issue with custom grind, but the problem is a lot of the people that are doing it on the newer stuff don't do the testing that it takes to find the proper custom grind, in my opinion. Can you explain the importance on having the DSX barrel breakout? Yes, that's something really. So basically, DSX makes a barometric pressure breakout. Barometric pressure is atmospheric pressure. The issue that you run into when you put like a supercharger on an LT1 car is the mass air sensor is also the barometric pressure sensor. So when you put boost through that and you pressurize that mass air sensor, it starts seeing the KPA shoot up and essentially thinks you're like running down a hill or something. It messes up the P ratio and it's not good. So basically what they make is a barometric breakout sensor. You'll plug in the mass air. You'll take your factory manifold pressure sensor out. You'll put a 3-bar behind there so we can actually see boost in the tune. and then you'll take your 1 bar and plug it in this harness and just strap it up somewhere out of the way so it reads the atmospheric pressure. That way it can properly calculate the boost, which is atmosphere, minus the manifold pressure. So definitely something you need if you're pressurizing on an LT1 or a car that didn't come with boost. You're pressurizing that manifold air pressure sensor. You need to have a barrel breakout. I currently have a campground on TSP lobes. Been chasing misfires to come out. Chipped valve seat. There's another one, guys. TSP, something's not right. I mean, it's not just you either. It's not just me. Like, this is several cars I've seen this on. So, it's out there. Texas Speed, either make it right or don't. I don't know, but that's constantly. Going to the dyno tomorrow. Might get a call from Matt if I'm 10 horsepower away from 1,000. Just put nitrous on it, Sam. Quit playing. Do you like the C601 2650 cars? Yes. I mean, who doesn't like a bigger blower on a already pretty killer platform with an awesome motor? I have seen, weird enough, I've seen a couple stock blower cars outdo some 2650 cars, but I think that was more in the early days because I've definitely seen faster 2650 cars as of last year. Spark plugs you recommend if someone is following your video with the first 3 mods for an LT4? Depends on what fuel you're going to run. If you're going to run the E85 and you plan on, driving the car pretty hard, I do the Brisk RR12S. Gap is going to depend on how much boost and how many mods you do. Factory boost, 28-ish, 30 on the gap is what I've been doing pretty well with. Brisk does not like a big gap. It will misfire. We found that out, unfortunately. If you have a car that you really run a lot on pump gas, I stick with the NGK LTR7iX-11 because it does seem to run a little hotter and it performs a little better on 93 versus the ethanol. So again, this is my opinion. This is for cars that I'm tuning. Other tuners may have other suggestions. If you're not tuned by me, you should be. If you're not, ask your tuner. Right? All right. And again, quickly. This is going long. But hey, we'll keep it going. If you're on Facebook or Instagram and you want to ask questions, go to Tuned In with JWT on YouTube. If you don't like, subscribe, give me some thumbs up. I will find you. I will hunt you down and I will make your car run slower. Get over there. Get over there. Help us blow this up so we can, do cool shit. We already answered that one. Go away. All right. LT4 stock bottom end, BTR stage 2 cam, heads 2650 PI, and American Racing. How good is that combo? That combo is good. It will make about 30 less horsepower than a stage 1 cam would, but it will chop its balls off. So, I mean, that's kind of a close combo to what I have, except I have a stage 1 and I have an LT1 with rod and piston, which is a hair more compression. I have American Racing 1 7/8 headers on my car. The reason I don't run 2-inch, I told you guys, I'm poor. That's what was on the car. And a 2-inch cheaper header didn't make sense over a higher quality 1 7/8. I do think the 2-inch will make more power. But again, if you guys don't like, share, subscribe, and blow this up, I can't afford to buy 2-inch to test it and tell you guys. So Tooley agrees with Holdner. Yes, he does. And Holdner's coming up. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Like, subscribe, and share. Yes, we did eat Dairy Queen with Richard Holdner in California. Super nice guy. But he will be coming to a podcast near you. And we will get to interview him and ask all kind of cool questions. And again, stay tuned. What's the best reliable G8 setup? Boy, y'all are pushing it tonight. Daily driven, just want it to sound good and make a little power, nothing crazy. Be a little more descriptive, J4. In what aspect? Like that's something that would be more consultation deal, right? Because there's so many different setups, so many ways, different ways to skin the cat. But that's why on justinwhitetune.setmore.com we have consultations. Shoot over there. That gets you a phone call with us. Usually an hour, sometimes 2-3 hours. Depends on how many questions you have. I don't really care. I'll share the knowledge, but you got to go book it. And then we can kind of go over some options, but the lives, it's really hard to spec a combo on here. How much power is the 8090 trans good for? Mine be slipping 4 to 5. No, it's not slipping at 730. You must, if you're tuned by me, that's absolutely not the issue. JustinWhiteTune.setmore.com. We can fix that 4 to 5 for you. Watch our videos, you'll see. All right. What point do you recommend 2-inch headers on LT4 cars? As soon as you can afford them. Go for it. If you have a LT4 car, the most important thing, 100%, I don't give a shit what anybody says, is exhaust. If you can't get that air out, it doesn't matter how much you shove in there if it can't come out. Is it a boost thing? It's all about getting that exhaust out and getting it out efficiently. That's important. That's also why these smaller cams really work well. What's your take on the capabilities and reliability of a stock bottom end with all necessary supporting mods for LT4? I mean, that LT4 is rock solid. Like I said, 1200 PD blower, 1500 with turbos or Sentry. I mean, of all the LT4s I've ever done, I've bent a rod on one and lost a bottom end on another. And that's out of thousands of cars. And I assure you, we push the living shit out of them. Do you still recommend Ultimate Engine Solutions? I will say the builder that is there, I 100% recommend. I know they're going through some things. A lot of businesses go through things. Hopefully they kind of get all that handled. It seems like they're getting on the right track. I don't know, but I can tell you that the builders that are there are the ones that have done our motors, and they are phenomenal. But yes, they have had some issues, and I mean, it's hard for me to just say yes, right? But for their engine building capability, 1000%. I can't speak on the rest right now, unfortunately. The RX-7 didn't have AC when I got it, fool.
So didn't have AC, did it?
Whatever, one car. What do you think about the new Atlas? So I think the new Atlas could be really cool. It has some cool features, but currently, as far as I know, it doesn't have any feature outside of port injection. And at the price point of $3,500 with the widebands, it's until they have more features. The other issue, I've spoke on it on plenty of other lives. You can go back and check that. But essentially, the way that that system works, this is, again, my opinion, but locking an injection window and limiting the DI and flooding with port causes you to make less power, which is a less efficient combo, and I'm here for all the power. So the way that that system works, I get that it's simple, but it kind of starts you out with a foot on the neck. That's my opinion. Until I'm proven wrong, that's how I feel. So it's not something I would personally run yet, but I'm hoping that they'll fix it, and or maybe they don't think it's broken and they stay doing what they're doing. I don't know. But currently I'm sticking with the Reflex because it has all the features that we talked about earlier and somebody I can call on the phone and speak to. Absolutely. Shoot me a message, man. Let's get it going. I've got some people in my hometown that can provide some meth knowledge. That's McKinley. Yeah. What 10-man WS6? Geez, you really did have a sketchy past life. So you want us to blow you to get Julio on the pipe? Jesus. You don't even have to do that. All you got to do is like, subscribe, and share it. Like, I'm not saying I'm not. Can I? No? Wendy said no. But Julio is going to get on it anyways. So, you know, it just helps if you guys help me, help you, help us. Let's do that. Shoot me a message. I'll send you my number. Or just Google it because my number is pretty public. My number's everywhere. Friends, neighbors, and third cousins. Let's get him to 1200. Okay, yeah, that's my thing. I will test M1 in the fuel, M5 in the fuel, and if we break 1200 soon, I might get spicy and put some actual nitro in it. I don't know, but remember, it's a rod piston LT1. I don't want to blow it up. The C7. I will test fuels if they get us to 1200 before I get to Houston, which is around the 23rd or 25th. I don't know yet. Get us to 1200, we'll do it. I'm not listening. I'm not letting you bend any rods. I'll pull the timing down or something. What's the gap for spark plugs on a Camaro SS full bolt on? You didn't tell me if it was Gen 5 or Gen 6. That's a big difference. I cannot currently recommend. Who do you recommend for short block on a C6 Z06? I can't recommend anybody currently. Like I said, the builder at Ultimate's really good, but I know they're going through some stuff, but they are supposedly in the process of fixing and mitigating. Until they do, I can't say that. But I have seen Borowski does some really good work. Mike Lowe does some really good work. Those are some guys that I've seen. I haven't worked with them, but I've seen a lot of cars run their engines. I've even seen a lot of Thompson engines doing really good. I know a lot of people hate on Thompson, but I can assure you their reputation is a lot better than Texas Speed currently. How can you tell if your fuel pump is failing in a V3? What will the log show you? Less fuel pressure. What do you mean? Is it worth going to 112 over boosted 103? So, what's your setup? I think you're talking about your 2650 car. It should be. If the blower is flowing enough, yes. If the blower doesn't flow enough, no. I'll explain that one. Hit me back for that.
We're like way ahead of the comments.
Damn, y'all are beating me. Are you keeping up?
Yeah.
I'm just not. Look, I mean, it's a lot of questions. I want to make sure I answer everybody's question. That's what this is for. All right, we got one for Wednesday would work better. Again, the question is, should we move the podcast, the lives to Wednesday over Thursday? Because I definitely see a trend of a lot more followers in here on a Wednesday. Somebody has reached out and said that Thursday there's other automotive podcasts they like to watch. I don't like to make it harder on you guys. If Wednesday's better, let me know in these comments and I'll go ahead and do that. Boom, boom. All right. Boy, you crazy. I can't do that. I got to tune cars every day. This will not trump tuning. If you're on our schedule and you have a tune, you are a priority. I do have it blocked for Thursday on the live section. If we move to Wednesday, I'll adjust, but we are 100% tuning, traveling for tuning. That is our main job, our main concern. So if you need tuning, hit us up, justinwhitetune.setmore.com, get it booked. This is an addition to that. Even if this blows up, this will be limited for tuning. Tuning is our main career. So it needs to stay priority number one, and customers' cars need to stay priority number one. Huh? When will you be doing the top 5 mods video? I did the first one on LT4. When are we gonna do that? Mostly film them next week or this weekend? Yeah. Probably doing this weekend. Yeah. I'll try to film them up this weekend and try to get them rolling out for you guys. We've been trying to do at least a video or 2 a day, but remember, again, tuning takes priority. I make sure all that's done, and then we do the videos. So I will get those out. And again, throw in the comments or shoot us a message or whatever. What top 5 mod videos do you guys want? What videos do y'all want to see? What information do you want? Who do you want me to track down and pop on the podcast? Who do you want in lives? What do you guys want? This is for you. Again, YouTube or Instagram and Facebook, move over to Tuned In with JWT on YouTube. That's where we're going to answer the questions. We're going to make this mostly exclusive to YouTube at some point. I just like to have it over there to kind of, some of the guys that are just too lazy to move over. Get over. If you are having trouble, like I said, Wendy's still monitoring it on Facebook and Instagram. But anyways, if you guys let us know what you want, we'll do it. I'll get with other people. I've talked to a lot of people, and where I thought we were going to have issues getting people to share knowledge, I think a lot of people that have been in this industry as long as me and longer, we're ready, right? We're ready for the next generation to start learning and come up the right way. That way everybody ends up with a better car or build overall. all I used to do was manual transmissions, but you know, you wouldn't know that. Are you using a separate fuel line and pump for your port injection? We're going to go back to, I am not suggesting this is how you do it, but the way my car is currently set up, I'm not recommending, but it does work and hasn't blown up, is factory fuel line to the front rail on the driver's side, back to the back, loops around, comes up the passenger rail, around and down into the pump. And there's a flex sensor from the factory line to the front rail. There's a flex sensor in the feed because that's where flex sensors need to be. They don't need to be in a return, and I don't have a return anyways. But no, I do not run a separate line or pump for my port injection, and it seems to work perfectly fine. I'm down. Cheesesteaks are great. I'm good with that. Got to eat how the locals do. How much E can a 6-gen Z01 intake headers with JMX Fuel Max? So surprisingly, the Z01 seems to have a better fuel capacity in factory form than the C7Z does. So usually we get like 620-ish, 650 maybe with no booster pump. I would assume with the Fuel Max, typically the fuel pump boosters give me another 150-ish, sometimes 200 wheel. It just seems to depend sometimes. I can't really explain why. Some cars do much better than others, but that's what I would suggest. But I mean, I like the aux pump just to make sure you have enough fuel. And if you want a booster pump, add it on there. I haven't done enough just booster pumps. That's coming. I even reached out to GPI and a couple others to see if they agreed with my list. That way I can bring you the best list based on not only my opinion, but industry professionals' opinions, because that matters to me, right? Like, we want to make sure we're all on the same page and that all of our results are making sense. So when I tell you something, you can run with it and you can feel good about it. ICT Billet came out with a kit. But so why wouldn't you just do an LSA blower over the LT4? Because I don't know if I feel like the LT4 is any better than the LSA. Just curious. Would it be beneficial to bump the compression on a V2 thinking 10-1? Yes. Yes. As long as your tuner is comfortable with it, and if you're not tuned by us, that you're going to have to ask them. I am 100% comfortable on that setup on a V2, 11 and a half, I'm totally good with. If you're doing more track only stuff and you're only going to run good fuels, we can get into the 12s, 12 and a half. So build cam, all that's going to be specific to that, but I'm a big proponent to compression, and a good way that that's broken down is on the GPI episode. I don't know if it was on part 1 or part 2, which comes out Friday, but we talk about compression and cams and why running a big cam is bad for compression and why you need more compression to run a cam and why all that makes sense. If you want to use stock HPT calibration as a starting point for a Holley base file, how do you tackle the spark map since the OEM file is in grams per cell? I don't use that. I don't use the HPT setup as it. I kind of have some built tables that I know have worked, and I've done testing on dynos to kind of figure out MBT on those setups, and I kind of start there. If I have any trouble, I reach out to Dylan Merkel, and he's a good old boy from Canada. And I will ask him because he is the Holley master. So we kind of work together on it. LSA, LS9 will come soon. We'll probably film it this weekend and get it out to you guys. How about the 120 throttle body sound? I mean, I love the 120s, but I just saw a 130. So, I mean, why not, right? Bigger is better. Sometimes, not all the time. It's how you use it. Was out fishing, so missed live. We'll catch it up now. Kobe, you're on the live, bro. But the lives are posted, so you can always go back and see. Irvin, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. Well, if you saw McKinley, Chase was in here who has an LT swapped ATSV, and he didn't say he would help us, but I asked, so that's coming. L8T crank and LS block, a good idea. The L8T crank is a factory center counterweighted crank. It's very cheap, and it's, from what I've seen, it's very strong. I believe they've made 2,000 horsepower with it. I don't know if I would continuously do that, but, and it gives you that little bit more stroke. So, you know, more strokes, always more better. So I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I don't hate G8s. I just think there was better life decisions. I don't hate G8s. That's not the case.
Just doesn't like them either.
And people like you that rack in all the G8s. I told you, I'm good. I don't hate them. I'm good.
You feel confident saying that? You didn't look confident.
Look, when the G8 came out, I was working at GM, and I thought it was the coolest car in the world. The first 888s came out, and I was like, boy, these are money. And then like a year later, they started falling apart, and then it got worse and worse. And I fell out of love with them. It's their own fault. If they would have stayed together, I would feel a lot better about it. All right. You guys are talking to each other in here. All right, we got another Wednesday. Yes to Wednesday. Wednesday is a ticket. Geez, guys, fine. We'll do Wednesday. But I'm still going to come on here tomorrow because I already set it up with Brandon. And Brandon wants to talk to you guys about tuning schools. So we're still doing Thursday on that one. Next week, we'll go to Wednesday. Yes, boss? Boss, yes. Wednesday it is next week. Wednesday is the time good, since you guys are, you know, changing it up on me. Is 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern good? Right. But keep in mind, that is 9 o'clock my time here. So I don't mind it, but I don't want to go any later. Should we go earlier? Should we stay where we're at? So that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for the subs. He said we got 30 so far since being live. Rack that number up. You know, if we get to that 1,200, you're going to really like that fuel knowledge, because it blew my mind when I started mixing fuel testing stuff back in the day. That was like a year and a half ago. So things have definitely come a lot further. But yeah, come from YouTube or Facebook and Instagram. Get your ass over to Tuned In with JWT. Hit us a like, subscribe, and, you know, hit that bell. We're going to start doing this on Wednesday. Y'all let me know about the time. I said 10 more minutes, but, you know, you guys are still here, so I guess we keep going. I'm seeing oil pressure jumping up and down rapidly from 50 to 65 and a 5.3. Is that a bad lifter? I've seen that as the lifter issue, but I've also seen that as the valve issue in the pumps. I assume you're talking about LS, right? LS. I've seen that be the pump. So it's got a little valve in there, and if a little bit of trash gets in that valve, it'll get sticky. So it moves, but not as smoothly, right? And I've seen that cause the issue, but I wouldn't call it a lifter until you already hear the lifter, which at that point, you know, it's already bad. So time for a cam. That's a good point. That's a good point. I guess we haven't been doing this long enough, right? We're only in week 2. Was this week? We've been doing these lives for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I watch the analytics, and again, I'm trying to adjust to what you guys need and want, and, you know, so people are saying Wednesday, we're going to go Wednesday. Wanting to do 2650, CID heads, cam package, fueling, and supporting mods. Anything I need to look into doing tuning with you? Honestly, before you just do everything, go to justinwhitetune.setmore.com and book a consultation. I can't, anybody that's done a consultation, if you're in here, you can let them know. I mean, we get in depth, like down to, I make you your own build sheet of what you need, if that's what you need. If you need contacts with people, I can get you in contact with people and build it right the first time, because at the end of the day, it only helps me and it helps you, and the car runs great and we both look good. So, because once you build it wrong the first time and you lose the love for it, it's over. You're not going to want to keep doing that. You're only going to take so many failures before you're like, forget this, I'm tired of throwing money away. Unless you just like throwing money away. And if you do, justinwhitetune.setmore.com, I'll put a donation link. I'm not too, what is that? I'm not too proud. I'm not. Do frustrate from the Honda scene. He's holding a record at the moment, 7-second quarter at the K Series. I don't know if you've heard of him. Lee G, shoot me a message and give me a way to get in contact with him. I'm down. I'm cool with doing import, guys. If you guys want to hear import stuff, I do have import friends, and I'm okay doing import podcasts, especially since we're in Puerto Rico. We can do rotaries. We can do whatever. You guys blow this up, I'll go wherever. I don't care. And I can pretty much relate with anybody. So I'm totally down for that. 7 seconds in a K Series is wild. I'd like to know what fuel they're running. What do I need to get 900-ish horsepower? I'm headers, intake cam. Consultation. That's the best way. And on 93, making 900, I get that that's a cool thing for a lot of people. That is not practical. That is not going to live very long. I know people say it is. It's not. Sorry, I should have asked it better. Is FP the only sign, fuel pressure the only sign, and would pulse width increase to compensate? Yeah, kind of. But if you're talking about a V3, remember that's going to the high side pump, and the high side pump's regulating it. So as long as you're getting that fuel there, it's not going to be as obvious in the pulse width, right? As long as that pump is staying fed. So realistically, you're going to have to look at, where it's coming in. But if you're fighting pulse width a lot, or you're fighting keeping that high side pressure up and your injection window and all is right, maybe you do have a problem there. If you need help, shoot me a log and I'll try to go through it and see if I can see something for you. LT1, 416, 1401 compression, want to change to an OTR. Will I need to get SC tune, or will mass air meter be okay? As long as you don't do a crazy OTR, a lot of people get in these like 5 and 6 inch OTRs. Like, that motor ain't breathing that much air. That shit's ridiculous. 4.5 inch usually works really well. Maybe get into a 5. But you could also do SD as well. But the mass air is faster, and you would obviously prefer that. But yeah, as long as you don't get crazy with the OTR, that's fine. It's over the radiator intake. For people that didn't know, OTR is when they cut like the hood latch out and they put an intake straight out into the front bumper to force air in. So ram air effect. I am not going there. We are not on this to bash people or bash tuners, or, if I have a really bad experience, consistently we'll say something, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to bash anybody. This is about bringing people together and making everybody's car better. So if it's just a tuner that I don't mess with, I just won't bring them on the platform.
I'll tell you who it is.
But if you text Wendy, she might tell you. Is 379 wheels per hour on a stock 6-gen Camaro? No. What? Why would that be all right? Well, if you're talking about just a dyno, I mean, dynos can be all over the place. So I wouldn't go with just the dyno number. Typically, they make a little more than that, but don't get stuck on dyno numbers, because that stuff can be moved way away. Brandon Chazon, best turbos for CTS V2, stock bottom end. I will stand by the best car I've ever driven for turbos and spool rate was Scott Hodges' car. Even though it was a manual, it was a set of 62s, and that thing lit off just as fast as a supercharger, and it made great power. I think it made like 1100. We could have made a little more than that. That was a stock bottom LSA. It was a phenomenal car, and hopefully one day he'll get it back, or a different car. And in my opinion, 62s, if you want to really push the shit out of it, 64s, I would not go bigger than that. That was a mistake we made in the past, and we kind of dealt with, but we didn't have somebody like this to tell us that 69s were a bad idea. So that's my opinion. 62s, 64s. Another yes to Wednesday. Time is good, Hoss. The kids are in bed already. That's what I was thinking. People were off work. I think it's like 7 o'clock for most people, 8 o'clock for others. It gives you time to get home, get in here, shoot the shit with us. So unless anybody argues with that, I think that's going to work. Brandon on making that 10-speed live at that power level. So like I said, I mean, we have a built 10-speed in Wendy's car, and we do plan to turn it up. We have it right now at about 1,000 or 1,100, and it's clicking off the shifts perfect. I need to tighten up one shift a little bit, but that trans is built. So it was built by Sean Hamilton, installed and swapped by Sean Hamilton at Powertrain Swap Solutions. And we will turn it up to 1,400, maybe even more. But keep in mind that that car has a stock LSA block and stock LSA heads. Same time is good. Wednesday works. Awesome, since I'll be having school on Thursday. Wanting to do 20. All right, another one. Wanting to do 2650 CID heads, meth, cam kit with sporting mods. Is it any issue with the tuning for the 2023 Blackwing? So I've read that the Blackwing was having a limitation around 750. I've heard that's not the case. I will be working with Tim King on his Blackwing. He's already put a 2650 on it, and we're kind of waiting on the Pro box from 2iPSI. So when I get Mike on here, y'all give him a lot of shit to push that as going. Motive, get it together. Let's do this. I don't know yet, D'Angelo, but stay tuned. As I do Tim's car, as long as he's cool with it, I'll post it on here. I'll show you guys what's going on, what we found, issues we have, you know, and if we need to work with somebody to give us some help with it, we will, because it's all about, you know, the common goal. Same time, I'm old and go to bed early. All right, Greg. Can an LT4 make 850 wheel with a 2650 and 2i port on the stock cam? It can make 900 plus. It's already done. Mike from 2iPSI's car has made over 900 with the stock cam with port injection. So 100% yes. That is a goat. Thank you, Fidel. Appreciate that. I couldn't tell what it was in the comments. I do too, D'Angelo. So I will keep you up to date as I know more. Unfortunately, we have one here on the island, and I'll be doing some of that, but we haven't had the computer unlocked. Everybody's been kind of busy with the holidays. So I will take you guys on the journey with it. Well, all the consultations are well worth it. Help me with the direction I want to take my ZR1 in. Thank you, man. Yeah, he's done one of the consultations, and, you know, he sees. We really put a lot into it. You know, it's not really about the money. It's about, you know, showing me that you're serious and that, you know, you want the knowledge, right? So it kind of helps me get a lot more serious, and I'll make sure that nothing's distracting me and we get it handled. My C7 made 603 with a lid, upper headers, and cold air intake. I have it dead. Well, if you didn't do flex fuel, that could get you, because just flex fuel should get you 620-ish. And then you do the upper pulley and a low side. We made a video on that. Follow the video. Consultations and everything are everything serious. Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, just because I don't tell everything that I deal with other people, we've been involved in the background with several major companies, you know, with R&D. So we have a lot of information that, you know, others may not have. And over the years, we've compiled that together, and we're ready to give that to you. So let's just do a few more, because, you know, it is late and we have kids. But again, last call from Instagram and Facebook. Hop over here, throw your questions in here. Tuned in with JWT. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell. We're going to move this to Wednesday, but tomorrow we're still going to do Brandon Lieb from Elite Tuned. We're still going to have him on. I think it's going to be a really good one. It's going to be a lot of knowledge. And then Friday we drop GPI Part 2. Again, sorry about the cliffhanger, but if you saw it, it's hilarious. D'Angelo, I have a C7Z that's built differently, only doing the build once learn. Oh, I have a C7Z that's built definitely only doing the build once. Well, if you're patient, I will let you know what I find on them, and we will do that. He frustrates will be cool. Get me in touch with him, guys. I'll talk to him. I'm totally down to hear the Honda talk, because they do some wild shit over there. I did. Fun fact. I once walked in while they were dynoing a Honda, and I didn't realize I didn't realize that you need a gas mask and why everybody had a gas mask on. That was a rough couple hours after. My eyes were burning like hell. The fuel that they run. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be around that. It's rough. I concur. JustinWhiteTune.setmore.com. Hit it up, Fidel. You did already. Then bullshit. Yeah, I see that. I got it on there. He tuned it already. Fidel, then why don't you have flex fuel? Because I know I would have told you that. Holla at me. Funny you say that, Jamie. When I go to Houston, I will be sitting down with Circle D Specialties and Pete Nichols and the guys over there, and their knowledge is. So we will be bringing that in a podcast form. It's going to be good. That's coming. But there's also, I'd like to get a hold to Justin Shearer because I like to know about how they set those cars up because they have to quickly adapt to different things. And I think that's another cool thing. You know, we'll see. Hopefully that'll come. Stir some shit up. We will stir shit up when it's necessary, but we don't want to stir shit up for no reason because we want people to like, subscribe, and share and be part of this and drop their knowledge. Need to get back to Chicago. I haven't seen you since the vet burned up. Have a 5th gen and 6th gen Camaro now. I've seen it, Eric. I've been creeping. So holler at me. You know, I'll help you out. I had a lot of fun tuning the other cars. And like I said, we do travel. That's something I don't know if a lot of people will understand that. If you want something tuned and you just don't want to do it remote, I'm a Spirit flight away. I'm not bougie. I mean, if you want to fly first class like Nate does for me, I mean, that's cool too, but I'm not bougie. We'll come to you. You know, I'm all about, you know, I learn more on the track and in the car than, you know, outside of it. So if you get 4 or 5 cars together, then, you know, we'll travel out there. No problem. If it's just yours and you're willing to pay for it, let's do it. At some point you have to do 2 nights alive. You have too much knowledge. Well, again, as long as it doesn't interfere with tuning, I don't mind doing it. But if it interferes with tuning, it's going to become a problem. I don't think it will. That's where the podcast and these extra videos, if you guys give me the ideas for the extra videos, I'll have those out and you can just pop in and see those. So what heads do you to run on your wife's car? I have a twin turbo LS3 Dart TFS 255 LS3 heads, 1100 wheel in Louisiana. Cool. I've actually lived in Louisiana a lot of my life. You probably already know that. I don't like the trick flow heads because they lose rocker bolts. It's a common issue. You can helicoil them. That's cool. But she has LSA heads that are just ported. So stock casting LSA heads. Car's made 1,400 wheel for over 36,000 miles. It's going to keep going rounds. And stock LSA block. Seems to work fine as long as the tuning's right. Can someone post a link to his website? I can't spell. David, come on. All right, so Wendy said she pinned it. JustinWhiteTune.setmore.com. Oh, it's right here. Boom. Right there. Screenshot. Can a 10-speed BR work with Holly? Yeah, so Sean said that the 10-speed works with Holly. I don't know if it's fully done or not. Can you remind me to ask Sean if the 10-speed's working with Holly fully? So, Kyle, shut up, man. Ain't nothing wrong with Spirit. I like Spirit. You know, if you want to put me in a big front seat, I like you more. Mike, look, I'm down, but get over to YouTube, man. Tuned in with JWT. I see he's on Instagram. Instagram's popped up over there. This is the club. You're outside the club. Come to the club. Like, share, subscribe. I said 10 more minutes, but you guys are hanging in, so I might as well keep going. 2 minutes? Y'all got 2 minutes. Get it in. What's your recommendation for stock C7Z looking to pick up some pep? Jay Sanch, come on. There's a video just dropped. LT4 top 3 mods. There's actually 5 mods in there if you watch the whole video. If you're still stock LT4 blower, is it really worth doing a camshaft if the stock cam can make 8,900? Yes. Mostly because it's a very inefficient way to make that kind of power. So basically, you're going to start at a boost level of 16, and up top you're going to have a boost level of like 22. It's not very efficient. It does cause intake temp issues. Can it be done? 100%. Do I recommend it? I don't. But when you're in California and you can't have a cam in your car, you do things like that. T7Z M7 made 670, 660 wheel with Cook's 2-inch NGK plugs, E55 tune. Ethanol is key. That's right. Ethanol is the life of LT4. LT4s are higher compression, and they have a very small blower that makes a lot of boost really fast. That is a combo that needs fuel. So if you don't want to do ethanol or you can't do ethanol, alky control methanol is the other way. I mean, can you do it on 93? Absolutely. People that want a trophy for doing it on 93, you're not getting one from me. I think you're silly. What would you build and why outside of GM? That depends on budget. Because if budget was nothing, it would for sure be an R8 because I think it's a bougie Huracan and it's cheaper. I would love a Huracan. I mean an R8. I think that's my opinion. That's what I would like to build if there was no budget. Outside of GM, I am interested at some point doing a Coyote conversion. I think that there's some stuff in there that we could do, but it's, I don't know if it's just too played out for that. But I think that would be cool because I like the RPM. Coyote, like the 5.0.
I know what
Put a Coyote in the Mustang and tune it and do Coyote stuff. I just don't like the factory computer. But if I did Coyote with an aftermarket computer, I could probably be convinced. If you guys want to see a Coyote in the Mustang, blow this up. And if that's what you really want, I'll do a Coyote because I can always hit Dylan Merkel. He can help me with the tuning on it. We can learn it, and I'll push the shit out of it. I don't care.
So let's take a vote.
Let's take a vote. If we do an LT4 or we do a Coyote. Or, we'll call up Calvo and drop a V10 in it. How crazy y'all want to get? I don't care. I got a welder. Turbo Gen 5 tips. Tanner. Honestly, head studs, fuel system, and a cam. We've made 1294, and it would have kept going, but they stopped. I wasn't scared. They were scared. I think you can make 1,1400 pretty safely and pretty easily with a Turbo Gen 5. I just haven't gone turbo yet because I like my car to relate to the customer base, and it just makes more sense. And if I go turbo, I don't know that I can help myself. Any experience on tuning the 6L80 on a Holly? So I've seen that controller. I don't know that I'm convinced. I would like to try it at some point again, but the computer that's in the Holly is, I think it's missing a couple things. I don't know 100%. I haven't messed enough with them, but I prefer the factory computer and then let the Holly run the engine. Saying that, that's what I did on my CTSV. It had a Holly on the engine and the factory computer on the trans, and I made 1,700 wheel and ran 840s with it at full weight and never burned a clutch. You 1,000% did tell me, and I haven't got to it. See, it's your own fault. Flex fuel, Fidel. But look, when you do that, you're going to gain a lot more. Do you have any tips on tuning a DSX aux pump and FPCM? Thanks. Not sure what tips you're looking for, but you can always message me, Tyler, and I'll help you as I can. I'll set a consultation because I'm wanting to get it right the first time, although I purchased a TT kit with turbos already. Those are very good turbos, Brandon. And you could just text me because, you did hook me up with that level sensor and save my ass. So I kind of owe you one. We answered this earlier. Yes, we will be at Texas 2K legally. Huh? He asked if we're going to be at Texas 2K. Yeah, racing, but, legally. On those streets that are legal. Anyways, it's the internet. It's forever. We don't do illegal street racing. That's not what we do. Built 416, twin 6466, C7, Z51. Going to need a tune in a few months. Going to get with you. Absolutely. You didn't need a 416, but why not, right? 6466 will make 1500 pretty easily. That C7 that made with that I just previously said that made 1294, that was on 62s. So you can imagine what some 6466 with a 416 would do. Brian Ramos. Hey, we need to go to Salinas. Brian has a C7 that with just some fuel, ran like, what was it, C16? Run like a low 10 with a stock C7Z in Salinas, which is in Puerto Rico. So not the greatest DA, but just imagine just E85 on a stock car. We've been in the nines and can definitely get you there. Wow. Can you a cam not chop for the people that we are in Cal? Yes, so you can kind of make a cam not chop, but they also have I don't know if it's public or not, but they do have companies that have sleeper cams, mostly for the NA guys, but we can do something similar for the boost guys, or a small enough cam that just fixes that issue with the factory cam, but just a little bit bigger to help with that temp problem. And for your California guys. What do you think of the new Haltech, new ECU and traction control? People say it's very similar to Motec. Everybody says everything's similar to Motec, but until you've ridden in a car that has Motec and you felt that traction control, I'd be hard pressed to believe that it's like a Motec. I'm sure it's close, but there's something about the Motec when I rode in it with Chris Delgado that the pull never stops. It can cut and make sure that you have perfect traction, but the pull never stopped. And that's something that 100% like blew my mind. So until I feel a car that can do that, I don't think it's the same as Motec. But I am interested in the Haltech ECU, and I'd like to look into it a little bit more. But currently, I just don't know that I can believe that. We could always prove me wrong. Haltech, holla. Waiting on you to get me on E85. 93 is no cats is killing me. I know it stinks, right? So let's do it. If you're waiting on me, my bad. Holler, hit me back. I don't think. I sent you frustrates Insta on Insta. You will be here all night. No, Wendy said I can't. I gotta go. We won't go anywhere. Wendy said I have to get off. I'm sorry. But again, tomorrow night I'll be here, and then next Wednesday I'll be here again. So, but I will hit up frustrates because I'm totally down for that. How far has the stock LT4 blower been pushed on stock heads and stock cam? I've only done an LT4 blower into the 800s, a little over 800. Could it go further? I'm sure, but by that time the boost was already stacking up, and it's just not a comfortable thing. Can you tune the Ford motors like the Godzilla? I currently do not do that, but Dylan Merkel does, and I can work with him, or he can work with me, or he can work with you. Either way, he's my Ford guy I go to, or if it's on a factory computer, I've been using Rob Schumacher because, you know, he answers and he does a good job. So I have questions on 2-inch headers, 2.4 upper pulley and intake, and I don't know if I should just do E40 tune and ported blower, or lower pulley, or ported. If I should do E40 tune and ported blower, or lower pulley and ported blower. I just know I'm about to be out of fuel. Or go port injection. Then you don't run out of fuel, and then you'll be good. But to answer that properly, more boost isn't always better at the cost of fueling. So say you could run 14 pounds of boost on E40, right? Or you can run 12 pounds of boost on, or let's say 14 pounds on E30 or 12 pounds of boost on E60. You're going to definitely make more power at 12 pounds of boost than you would at 14. So I hope that kind of helps answer that. But yeah, go port and do an aux pump, and you know, just go all in, dude. You only live once. You can't get buried with it. You know, spend it. That's what I do. That's right. And it chops its ass off because, you know, Brian always pulls up to the courthouse chopping, and everybody looks at him like, what the hell is going on with this kid? Does the 2i PSI Reflex have widebands for closed loop tuning? Yes, it has inputs. It also can pull the widebands over the CAN bus, but it does have an input for the wideband that you can wire in. Currently, it is only one wideband, which is perfectly fine, but the Pro box will have 2 widebands. Favorite boost controller? That's a good one. So if you're doing a lot of quarter mile stuff, it's hard to say that an AMS 2000 that you can beat that, right? That's a killer controller for quarter mile or no prep or building it, because you can compare your G-force versus your boost, overlay it. That's what we used initially. Very good. For the track stuff still, if you're more on a budget, I would go with the boost leash. Super great. That's what's on Wendy's car. But if you're a street guy and you like to kind of mix it up, right? eBoost 2 is my favorite because you get 7 different settings. You can set them to paddle shifters or whatever you want to go through the settings. So if you want to just, you know, run somebody and just like fuck them up by one car, right? Or if you just want to make them sell it, you just keep clicking that button and stretching them out. I like the adjustability of the eBoost 2. So I would say for street car, that's my favorite. But for track car, it would definitely be the boost leash or the AMS 2000. How long we got? Wendy said 3 more questions. If the 10-speed can be made to work with the Holly, how much power do you think it'll handle behind a heavy truck? I would say in stock form, if it's a 10L90 in stock form, I'd have to say 800 to 1,000 reliably. I don't know. I can't say yet. I don't like to make things up, but I feel strongly about that. But we will be pushing the shit out of 10 speeds this year, so we will let you know. Are you running the smooth boost on your C7 2650? How do you like it? Yes, I have a smooth boost on my car. It is wired to the Reflex, and it is boost by gear and boost by mile an hour. I love it. It is literally life-saving, because before I was literally just sticking it and trying to live. Now I can build that boost ramp. It makes the car a lot more usable. I can build a map for street tires or build a map for radials. So I love it. I love the Smooth Boost products. I think they're great. ZF8 conversion to LS. I don't know. I did some messing with some Hellcat transmissions, and I definitely like their transmission and their control, if that's what you're talking about. But I didn't know that people were doing that. If they are, that would be really cool. All right, that's going to wrap us up. You say Reflex Pro Box are coming out with a new box over the Reflex Plus. Yes, there is a Pro Box coming. When I get Mike strangled up and put on here, ask him about it. See how much he'll tell us. You know, because the Pro Box is going to have a lot of crazy features. Very badass. Due to your previous setup, what are my limitations to A&A T-trim, wheel horsepower, and boost? So the V3 T-trim, I pushed the shit out of it. I ended up running it without an intercooler because the intercooler is absolutely a restriction. I made 900 on it, but it was an inferno. 200 plus intake temp. I had to really get with Julio to get the meth dialed in. I was running 2 pumps and 3 nozzles at one point. It just got to not working. If you want to run 750 to 800, I think it's an awesome blower to start with. I think it's a killer setup. I love the A&A setup. But outside of that, once you want 900 or more, it's just not there. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. We've got to get the kids to bed. Again, thank you all. If you like, subscribe, share this, put in the comments, get on the videos, let us know what you want to see. We're going to blow this up this year. You know, no gatekeeping 2025. We're going to get everybody on here. We're going to share the info. That's it. Anything else? Huh? Website. If you want tuning or consultations, justinwhitetune.setmore.com. Book it on there. Hit us up. I'm always here to help, and that'll be it. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.